How you going, guys? Side by Side Australia podcast, episode 10. It's the 21st of May, and this weekend we've got the Flinders Ranges Trail Ride. So everyone's getting prepped for that. Things are absolutely bonkers here, just trying to get everything prepped, getting camera gear all charged up and drones ready and everything all sorted, and getting messages out to you guys. Now, just to give you a quick rundown on some industry news before we jump into the Flinders stuff. I'm sure you're all aware KTM is really struggling at the moment. I know that doesn't affect us because they don't make side-by-sides, but it does affect our dealers because a lot of the major dealers carry KTM and they're going through a lot of pain at the moment. So it looks like they may have got some funding to help themselves out short-term. So they're meeting the deadline, which I think was today, that they had to have a massive amount of money to pay some of their suppliers and everybody. It looks like they've done that with the help of their major shareholder in India. But as to whether that's going to be a long-term solution or not, we don't really know. But anyway, let's hope, fingers crossed, that KTM can survive, because there's a lot of rumours going around about them getting bought out by BMW, by them getting bought out by BRP, which is Can-Am, but nothing's been confirmed yet. They may be able to survive on their own. Let's wait and see, and let's hope they can keep their production in Austria where it's always been. Okay, now KTM is affecting a lot of our dealers, especially Peter Stevens. So I don't know whether you guys have heard, but Peter Stevens in the last few days have gone into voluntary administration, which is really, really bad for them. They probably won't be able to dig their way out of it. The group, the entire group is actually okay, like the wholesale side of Peter Stevens. So Peter Stevens Wholesale is okay in their distribution, but the retail, which is I think 15 dealerships all up, including Harley Heaven and all that stuff, looks like it might be the end of them. So anyway, thoughts go out to all of the sales guys and everyone at Steve-O's. I know a lot of them. I've worked alongside a lot of them. Especially Brendan he's a dealer principal at the Ringwood store. He's been really, really handy and a strong ally in the side-by-side market, especially in Victoria. He's been at I'm pretty sure all of the side-by-side trail riders events that Orlando runs over there in Vic. Not having that support is going to be really tough for everybody. So, thoughts are with you guys. Hopefully you can find a solution. Okay, so that's Steve-O's. Now, just keep in mind, if Steve-O's do completely fall over, they're a Yamaha dealer, they're a Can-Am dealer, a Kawasaki dealer, and they're a Honda dealer. But don't forget, plenty of independent dealers around that you probably buy your gear from anyway, so support those guys. All right, Flinders Ranges is this weekend. Just to give you an idea of the schedule that we're working by, myself and Baker and Noodles and a few of the guys on the committee, what we're planning on doing is we're heading off on Thursday. So we're going to get to Jamestown on Thursday night. We're staying at the Jamestown Railway Hotel, and we're having dinner there in the pub. So if anyone wants to break the trip and stay in Jamestown on Thursday night, that's where we're staying. There's other accommodation options, but that's where we're having dinner at the Railway Hotel. So feel free to pop on down and have a beer and have a feed. And then on Friday morning, we'll be heading off nice and early. We're going to have a late breakfast / early lunch, sort of 10:30ish at Hawker. So Jamestown to Hawker is only 2 hours. So about 10:30, I reckon, we'll get to Hawker. We're going to be at the bakery, the Hawker Bakery, which is on Elder Terrace. So when you turn right and pull into Hawker, crack a left, and where the public toilets and information bay and everything is just there on your left, the bakery's directly opposite. Plenty of room along that street to park your rigs. So come in and have a feed there, really good feed, and not a bad coffee from memory. So we'll be there for Friday's late breakfast, early lunch, and then we need to make sure we're at Rawnsley Park before lunchtime. So Rawnsley Park from Hawker is only half an hour, so it's nice and quick. So get to Rawnsley Park, check into your accommodation, because remember we're staying at Rawnsley Park on Friday night and Saturday night for those who want to, and those who are already booked in. If you haven't booked in, I hope you're camping, because there's not a lot of other options. Make sure that you're at Rawnsley Park before lunchtime, because around 12:30, we're planning on jumping in our vehicles and driving the 4 kilometres back down the highway to the entry gate, which is a lock gate. We'll be going in there and unloading our buggies and doing the Arcapina track. all day on Friday afternoon. So they reckon it's a 4.5 hour one-way trail in a four-wheel drive. They're actually shutting the whole track down just for us because we can't drive on the road. We're doing the whole track from where we park our trailers. We're doing the whole track and then turning around and coming all the way back again, which you can't normally do. It's only a one-way track. So that's why they've shut the whole track down for us just for that afternoon. So if you're not with us when we leave Rawnsley Park to go through that gate, just hang at Rawnsley and wait for us to get back. You're going to miss out, guys. So all I can say is get to Rawnsley before 12, check into your accommodation as quick as you can. And yeah, if you can get there earlier, I'd do that, because just after 12 is when we're going to be gathering and heading down the road to go through that lock gate to get into the paddock, to unload, to do the ride. Okay, so that's Friday. Friday night when we get back, everyone can organise their own meals. You can go to the Woolshed restaurant, which is at Rawnsley Park Station, but make sure you book prior to going. So book this week, give them a buzz. Friday night and Saturday night is an option at Woolshed restaurant. The meals are very, very good. It's not cheap, but it's very good. There is a communal camp kitchen at the caravan park at Rawnsley Park, which is probably where we're going to be cooking. I'm going to take my little Weber BBQ as well. I'm feeding a few of us who are all going up together. But there's gas barbecues and everything in the camp kitchen, most things that you'll need. Take everything that you think you're likely to want. We're just doing barbecues and taking salads and bread rolls and Kranskis and things like that for ourselves. So feel free to take that sort of stuff if you want, or anything at all. So Friday night at Rawnsley Park, doing your own food. Then Saturday morning, we're doing Skytrek. Okay, so Skytrek is Willow Spring Station. So that's about half an hour from Rawnsley Park north. So we'll be getting a fairly early start. I'm tipping we'll probably want to leave about 7:30 to drive up to Willow Spring Station so we can unload, because it's a 135-kilometre loop. It's a mega loop, and it took us every bit of the day to do last year. So we want to make sure we've got plenty of time, because there's one big hill that you drive up very close to the end of the 135 Ks. It's probably 110 Ks in. And last year we just timed it that the sun was going down behind the mountain and you're driving straight at the sun and you can't see where you're going. So we're going to try to get to that bit a bit earlier than we did last year. That's the goal. Okay, so that's a big loop. The Friday ride, which is our Carpina track, is nowhere near as long. It's not 135 Ks. It's 4.5 hour trip, so it's not going to be a massive loop. I don't think anyone's going to have any problems with fuel. I'll have a little bit of a splash and dash in my buggy if people need it. But all I can suggest is, if you're not sure if you're going to need extra fuel, take extra fuel. But be smart about it. Don't stick it directly above your exhaust. Don't put it next to your head in your cab or above your head or anything like that. Just remember, no one's going to go upside down. No one plans to go upside down. If you do, you got to think about what that fuel's going to do. So make sure it's protected. Best thing you can do is have it under your seat or somewhere, everywhere where you could possibly put spare extra fuel. You can think of a scenario where it's going to cause you problems. Just come up with the safest possible option. And make sure your jerry cans are locked nice and tight. And if you can put the jerry cans in something, it's a bonus. Okay, so Saturday we're going to do the early start and do the loop from Willow Spring Station. We're doing Skytrek and we're doing Carnarvon Track, which you can't actually do both of them together, but we've got access to get through the gate between the two. So we'll be doing half of Willow Springs Skytrek and then through the lock gate into Carnarvon Track, because there's only a gate that separates them. And then we do the full Carnarvon Track loop back to that same gate, back through it, and then finish off the rest of Skytrek. So, yeah, she's going to be a big day that Saturday. And so at the end of Saturday, we jump in our vehicles, towing vehicles, tow our buggies back to Rawnsley Park. It's only half an hour again. And then we have dinner and have a bit of a chill out, have a couple of beers, have a laugh. And then Sunday morning, we all get up and in your own time, head home. We will probably stop at Hawker at the bakery again on the way home for brekkie. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but that's what we're planning on doing. Okay, so that's the schedule. That's the plan. Now, lunch on Friday, where, like I said, we're going to have an early lunch, late breakfast on Friday at Hawker anyway on the way up. Saturday, you need to take your own lunch with you. So we'll be just doing salad rolls and sticking them in a cool bag in the buggy somewhere. I'm thinking I'm putting them in my Pelican case up on the roof because I've got racks on the top of my X3 Max. So, yeah, some soft drinks, some water. Make sure you take water because it's pretty remote where we're going. And, yes, we're not planning on having any issues, but if someone has an issue and we're stuck out there for a while, you want to have plenty of water. So definitely take some extra water. Fuel we've discussed, definitely take some tyre repair gear and drive belt and tools to replace your drive belt. No, having a belt and no tools to replace it. Not a bad idea to jump on Google, on YouTube and have a bit of a look to see how you change a drive belt if you haven't done one before. Yes, we'll have plenty of people there who will be able to help you out. You're not going to be stuck. But if you're in the middle of the pack and there's a bit of a gap behind you and you do a drive belt, it's nice for you to get started before the next person turns up. The person behind you may have no idea about your buggy. They may be in something different. So, yeah, get a bit of knowledge before we head off, just so you're self-sufficient, but understand that we'll be there to help you as well. But you need to have the gear that you need to fix your problem. So definitely recommend either have a spare wheel and tyre that you carry with you, even though we didn't do any tyres at all last time, didn't do any drive belts at all last time either, because it's not a fast, racy sort of course. It's very much a trail ride, but you definitely want to have the gear there just in case. I've done plenty of tyres on that loop before on quads, because it's very, very rocky in a lot of the sections when we start climbing up through the mountains. But because we're going to be going fairly slow, I think you'll be safe. But if you don't have a spare wheel and tyre, try to hook yourself up with somebody who does have one that will fit your buggy. Take plug kits, take a little compressor, just take whatever you think you're going to need to resolve that issue. So drive belts, tyres, they're the main ones. If you have anything bigger than that go wrong, we're probably going to be getting a trailer in there to get you out. Just remember it's a four-wheel drive track, so wherever you are, it will take a while, but we'll be able to get you back and get you to your tow vehicle, or someone's tow vehicle, so they can get in there and get your buggy on a trailer. Again, hasn't happened before, and I'm hoping it won't happen again, touch wood. But yeah, just be prepared. Alrighty, so we discussed all of the gear that you're likely to need. Wallshed Restaurant, if you want to have dinner there on Friday night or Saturday night, remember to book. Get that happening now. If you haven't booked accommodation at Rawnsley Park for Friday night and Saturday night, and if you're not going to be camping, if you want to stay in a cabin or something, you want to get onto them, because I'm tipping they're probably all sold out already. But I'm not 100% sure, so just give them a holler. Weather for this weekend is looking perfect. We couldn't ask for more. So it's going to be 18 degrees and sunny on Friday for when we do our Capina track, and it's going to be 20 degrees and sunny on Saturday when we do Skytrek and Carnarvon track. The Friday wind 15 k's an hour, Saturday wind 28 k's an hour at the top at lunchtime. That's actually really, really good. When you're in the buggy, you don't feel the wind anyway, but you want the wind to blow the dust away because it's very, very dry out there. So it will be mega dusty. So, yeah, take spare goggles, take a spare air filter if you got one. It may be worth swapping it out on Friday night after Arcapina if it's real dusty. If you haven't got one, you should be okay. But yeah, if you've got one, bring it along for sure. Because the weather's going to be brilliant, give you an idea of the sort of stuff I'm going to be wearing. I'm just going to be wearing a pair of boots, some long pants, probably a jersey, probably not T-shirt. I like to have my arms covered. Definitely gloves. Always wear gloves in the buggy if you can. And I'm just going to take a light jacket for early in the morning or late in the evening. Again, if someone breaks down and we're stuck with them out there, it could get pretty cool later in the evening, and definitely first thing in the morning. It could be a bit fresh as well once you get up to speed. So, yeah, just a light jacket, something that you can take off when the day warms up and stuff under your seat or something like that. Okay, we've got a couple of extra people coming along on this ride that you wouldn't have met before. One of them is David from Aravane. That's a marketing agency that Can-Am uses. So David and his team are responsible for sending the editors and journalists along for me to put in the other Can-Am X3 two-seater that we bring along. So you notice that blue X3 is always there, and there's always someone different in it. That's a journalist from one of the magazines or one of the online businesses that helps promote the sport and helps promote the club. So this time, David himself, who's the boss of Aravane, he's coming along to see what it's all about. He's a good fella, so he'll be good for a laugh. So he'll be in the back seat with a mate of his who's coming along for the adventure. They'll be in the back seat of my Max, maybe getting a bit of a steer at some point as well. So that's David. And also Mark Muller, who's the editor of the R.M. Williams-owned Outback magazine. You've probably seen it before. If you've ever flown anywhere, the Outback magazine's everywhere at the airports. It's all about the culture of Outback Australia, and it's owned by R.M. Williams. So the editor, we're lucky enough that he's going to be coming along and driving that Can-Am X3 two-seater. So when you see Mark, say good day and tell him how good the club is. With any luck, at the end of it, we'll get a nice article in the magazine at some point moving forward. That'll be great. So he'll be taking photos and I think some video. There was a whisper he may be taking his drone as well. We'll have a few drones. So that'll be good. We should get some really good footage. Just another quick thing I want to talk about before I flick over to Luke Beechey from ATV Store. GPS. Now, we're trialling something a little bit different for me, but something pretty normal for Noodles and some of the guys. Because we did the Skytrek and Carnarvon Track loop last year, exactly the same as what we're doing this year, we've got the GPX file, as in a sat-nav full follow the trail loop in Noodles GPS. And on his recommendation and the recommendation of a few other people I've spoken to, I've actually gone out and purchased a Garmin Zumo XT2, which is one of the new Garmin. It's a fairly large GPS. I'll drop a couple of pictures over the top here so you can see what it looks like in my buggy, but they just clip off. I can actually clip it in my adventure bike as well. And because of the way the Garmin's work, because Noodles has got the file on his GPS, he's got the XT, which is the predecessor to the XT2. It's a little bit smaller. He can just tap his on mine, I believe. That's how it works, and it transfers the file. So I'll actually have the route on my GPS as well. So I've got it mounted on the dash of my X3, and I'll be able to follow that as we're going, and I'll be able to see if I go off the track or not. So that's a really cool thing. Now, Toots and the guys over in New Zealand who run tours that I was telling you about before, and I'll have some more information coming up in one of the other the future episodes of the podcast. Those guys aren't allowed to go on their side-by-side adventures unless they've got one of these Garmin GPSs, a Zumo XT or an XT2. They don't use the Cornerman system. We do use the Cornerman system for now. But all the guys over there have to run these GPSs and they don't need the Cornerman. Basically, they get the file at the beginning of the ride and they just follow that the whole time. You basically can't get lost. You just keep, as long as you're looking at it, you'll be able to see that you're on the track. I know Noodles was saying the guys in some of the South Australian Adventure Two-Wheel groups run the same system. You sign in at the beginning of the day, they clip the GPSs together, you get the file, and that's your trail for the day. So really cool system. The technology is really good. So I'm going to test it this trip. And then talking to Luke from ATV Store this morning, MX Store actually sell the Garmin Zumo XT2s. So ATV Store doesn't have them on their website yet. Give it a couple of days and they will now. And I'm working with Luke to try to come up with a deal so that we can get a bit of a bonus for club members who from next week order one of these GPSs. If you're watching this now and you order one, you're not going to get it in time for this weekend anyway. That's cool. We're running Cornerman system anyway. But if you decide after looking at mine on the weekend, or if you decide you want to get one anyway, then from next week, go on to atvstore.com.au and you'll be able to see a side-by-side Club of Australia deal happening. I'll let you know more about that once Luke and I have a chat in the next few days. Speaking of Luke, Luke is going to talk about one of his favourite subjects, which is shafts. So I'll flick over to Luke now and we'll talk everything drive shaft. Luke Beechey, welcome back to Side by Side Australia podcast, buddy. How are you?
Good, mate. Good to see you again. Thanks for having me, as always. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Looking nice in your new ATV Store black T-shirt.
Yeah, we're trying something a bit different recently. So, we've always had the green, I think for about 3 years now. We've just done a few black ones recently and, which works with some other stuff that we're working on with you. So,
do you sell the ATV Store T-shirts online?
We don't at this stage. We are looking at doing a slightly different version. Like we might do something with a cool logo on it, a bit of a cool design, maybe a picture of a UTV or ATV. So it's something we are working on, as you know, and a lot of other people won't. We do have a in-house printing, so we do print a lot in-house. So all these shirts are done right here. So
Beautiful. Awesome. All right. Now, axles. Today is all
yes,
about axles. Let's talk about them because you've got one or two axles in the warehouse, as we saw the other month on your little
yep.
video walk around you did.
Yes, yes, we do. We currently have over 400 axles.
Wow.
Yeah, huge amount for utility ATVs and side by sides. A lot of the farm stuff, is just that sort of stuff that just moves every day. And then a lot of the sport stuff as well, like the X3s, the Razor Pro XPs, all that stuff. They come out with a good axle in them, but you can break anything these days, and people are still looking to upgrade. So yeah, we have a large range. We do a lot of track motive axles. Pricing is great on them. They start there like $274.95. So personally, you wouldn't go and put that in an X3. You'd be wasting your time. But
Yeah.
you'd go putting it in, a lot of your ATVs and your side by sides for farm and the smaller, sport ones as well. You can see these here. Like they're a well-built axle that come fully assembled. The whole thing is you just pull the old one out, put the new one in, but then for your bigger stuff, your Razors, your X3s, all that stuff, I don't believe you can go past the Rhino 2.0. They are built well. They are strong. They're well tested.
It
Again,
looks
they
good.
come, mate, they are huge and they are just such good quality. So they work really well. They're available for a big range of vehicles. We're actually going to be expanding the Rhino 2.0 range in the near future. So as people have been reaching out to us for ones that we thought maybe wouldn't be popular sellers, we're like, hey, people are asking for these. So we're working on them at the moment and going to get more. So
Yeah, but something like that, that's a really heavy unit, yeah? So something like that, you're going to be charging extra freight and stuff on.
nope, nope. It's still
No.
covered by anything over $20, mate. Free freight. Doesn't matter how big and heavy these axles are. Some of these boxes, are 70 centimeters long and they're quite heavy, but it doesn't matter whether you're buying a cheaper axle or a big, expensive, heavy axle. We will do free shipping on that product Australia wide.
Wow, that's awesome. That is really, really cool. So those big axles, you're saying that they're really suited for the X3s and the sport machines and things like that. How often do you get orders for axles for the bigger machines for the trail riders?
Oh, to be honest with you, it's every week, if not every couple of days,
Wow.
And it's not just because guys are breaking what they've got now. It's because they want to upgrade, or a lot of guys will buy a set of these, put them in, keep the others as spares. You know what it's like when you go out bush or you go on adventures. There's certain things you carry like a belt, and an axle is always a great idea as well. So.
Yeah, I know that the current X3s, the old ones weren't the same, but the current ones, left and rights are the same. So if you buy an axle, you can go in either side. So I'm sure a lot of the other models, a lot of the other brands are the same.
A lot of them are like that, which is great. Like, there's nothing worse than having to buy 4 different axles to carry spares. Most vehicles people can get away these days with one front and one rear, which is definitely a bonus. So.
Now, if someone wants to rebuild an axle because they've done a CV or split a boot or something like that, do you have the equipment they need to do that as well?
We do. So we carry a huge range of CV boots for your standard axles. So they come with a CV boot. You get the grease, the clamps. Now we also sell the CV tool. One of the most popular things we sell at ATV Store, quantity-wise, is the CV boot banding tool. We also have the bigger CV boots for the Rhino 2.0 axles. So you can't just, because they're such a bigger axle and a bigger CV, so you can't just go getting the standard size boot and putting it on. But we also carry the boots for these as well. So realistically, anyone has any issue, they don't want to replace the whole assembly, we can try and do our best to put all the parts together they need. CVs by themselves are a really hard thing to get, and they're actually quite expensive. It usually works out more cost effective to buy the whole assembly. So.
Right. So if somebody wants, let's say somebody's out on the trail and they wreck a CV or twist an axle or do wreck the spline on the end or something,
Yep.
best thing for them to do is to ring you guys, pick up the old dog and bone, give you a
Yep.
call and say, this is what I've done. This is my machine.
Yep.
I'll give me a new set of axles, but also give me all the stuff that I need to repair the old axles, and I'll just chuck them in the trailer when I go trail riding. So if I do it again on Saturday morning first thing, I'm not turning around and going home.
Exactly, and that is what a lot of people do. They do buy axles and then they buy the parts to, upgrade and fix their old. Well, not even upgrade, just fix their old axles so it's a good spare. And in saying that, there is things we can't get, like circlips for a standard axle. Some people ask about, we can't get them, but we're working on them. So we're just constantly working on products we can get, and more axle parts are one of those things.
Alrighty, Luke, thank you so much for running us through all of that, mate. So, everyone, want to get any axles for your machines, any parts for your axles, give the guys at ATV Store a buzz and jump online, atvstore.com.au, go hard. Remember, it's all free freight, over $20.
Yep, thanks, mate. We appreciate it. I'll talk to you again shortly.
Good on you, buddy. See ya. Alrighty, that's it. That's all we've got for episode 10. I'll see you guys maybe this weekend in the Flinders Ranges. If not, check out the video and the photos and everything as they pop up on socials as the weekend unfolds and during the week next week. Hopefully a lot of you guys can come. I think last count there was 15 buggies all prepaid and registered on the website, ready to go. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a long trail, but it's going to be awesome. All right, guys, we will catch you next time.